Conversations That Matter is a partner program of the Center for Dialogue at Simon Fraser University. The production of this program is made possible thanks to the support of the following and viewers like you.
Entrepreneurship is a very interesting concept. And in Canada, I know that over the last 40 or 50 years, we've actually done quite well, but I understand that the trend is changing. What's happening?
Well, actually, there's less young people who decide to become entrepreneur in Canada. So it's a new trend over the last 10 years. Every year we see less and less Canadians making the choice of becoming entrepreneurs. And we're really worried about it because new entrepreneurs, new businesses are very important for the health and economy. So if you have less new business, you have less innovation, less job creation. So that's why we're so worried about it.
So what do you think is happening? Why are young people turning away from what is the exciting but also scary world of running your own business?
Well, we're not sure, and there's a lot of researchers who are doing research about this. Canada is not unique in this situation. We find the same trend in the US.
Yes.
Some explanation people are looking at some explanation. One of them is the job market is relatively good. So when people graduate, they have options for different jobs. So that's an easy way, and you don't need to start your own business if you have a good job, flexibility, a good salary. Another explanation is a new phenomenon is young people, when they graduate, their debt level is much higher than in the past. So if you graduate with $50,000 in debt, it's pretty hard to start a business.
Yes.
So that's another part of the explanation. But we're not sure exactly why we see this trend in most developed economies, like I said, mostly in Canada and the US as well.
What about the environment that exists? So many people run around saying, well, we believe in small business, we promote small business, we want to support small business. But then when you go to do things, banks, governments, local governments, unions, they're not there for you because you're a high risk. The number of small businesses that make it to the 5-year mark is, I think, 4 out of 100. And so what can we do to start to change that environment to make it a little bit more attractive?
Well, there's no doubt that starting a business is not easy. And it's not also for everybody. I mean, some people, you need really to have a passion for starting a business or a passion for something that will help you to start a business. Because like you said, you're going to face a lot of barriers, a lot of challenges by starting a business. You need to have a different product or a different service, or you need to differentiate yourself. So it's not easy to succeed, but at the same time, if you succeed, the reward could be very interesting. So what can we do more? I think there's a lot of programs to support small business. But the reality is when you start a business, you're on your own. So that's very challenging. But at the same time, it could be really rewarding.
So you talk about that passion. I look back on the development of my own business a little over 16 years ago. I left the security of a job and went, I'm going for it on my own. And it was exhilarating. If not scary, it was the most exhilarating thing that I'd ever done. And I used to tell everybody, follow your passion, go do it. Here I am 16 and a half years later, and I go, you might want to think long and hard about it because it is tough. It's really tough.
Yes, you're perfectly right. It's tough, and also it's more difficult now than before because what we see in our research is there's actually more competition than ever before. So businesses, small and mid-size and large, are facing more competition in Canada than ever before. Also, your business environment is changing very rapidly now, much more rapidly than we have seen before. For example, the internet. Now you need a strategy to be online because people want to buy online, or at least they want to see your product and services online.
Right, you have to have that out of the starting gate now.
Exactly. Actually, some businesses, that's the only thing they do. They don't even have a store anymore. But the point is the business environment is changing very rapidly, and you have to adapt all the time. So, for example, we did a research on the most successful firm in Canada, and also what we call the 5 do's and 5 don'ts. We look at successful firms who are having difficulties, and we try to find common factors explaining that. And one of these factors is not understanding its market. So you could be successful, but your market is changing. And if you're not aware of it, if you don't understand how your market is moving along, if you don't adapt to this new reality, well, your business, your successful business can become less successful. So it's very challenging today because the world is changing very rapidly. And also, there's a much more competition than before.
So what are the 5 do's?
Well, the first one is innovation. It's very interesting because there was another researcher who did a similar research 25 years ago. And also innovation came at that time as the number 1 factor for success.
So innovation over invention, because the two are not synonymous.
No, you're perfectly right. Innovation is not a breakthrough innovation. You don't have to invent the next BlackBerry, but you have to improve what you're doing all the time if you want to keep the competition away. So the most successful firm in Canada, they offer new products and new services more often than other firms. For example, they adapt technology more rapidly, and they also improve their internal processes more rapidly than other firms. So the key is not to try to find a new big thing, is really to improve what you already do, to improve it all the time. So that's the way you're going to beat competition.
So that's number 1. What's number 2?
Well, number 2 is to ask for outside advice. And I was surprised to see that because these people that we look at are the most successful in Canada. But they realize that nobody can be an expert in everything. And we live in a very complex environment now. So the most successful one, they reach out outside their firm to experts, to professionals who have a lot of experience, and they share their vision and they ask for advice. So the most successful firm, they ask formally for advice. So they have an advisory board, a board of director, or they hire consultant expert to help them to make that decision.
Even small companies. You're recommending the same thing for a small, less than 10-person shop.
Definitely. Because, for example, an advisory board is just a committee of 3 experts or professionals with a lot of experience that will challenge your vision as an entrepreneur. So even if you have 5 employees, you have big decisions to make. At the end, as the owner, you make your own decision. But at least you have a discussion with people who have done it before, or who they are an expert in the subject.
Conversations That Matter is a not-for-profit program made possible thanks to the charitable support of the following and from viewers like you. Please visit conversationsthatmatter.tv and help us to continue to produce this program. Thank you.
Okay, I'm curious. I got to go through the rest of the list. What's number 3?
Well, number 3 is to have a plan, to know exactly where do you want to be in 5 years. So the most successful firm, not only they have a plan, but they have tools to measure their progress. They know exactly every year what are the goals they want to achieve. And also, they share this plan with everybody in the business. Every employee in the business understands where they want to be in 5 years, for example. So, give you an example. I was visiting a business in Kamloops in British Columbia, and it's a client of BDC. They manufacture boats. And when I visited the plant, I was very impressed to see that they have posters everywhere in the plant saying exactly what is the goal for this year. What do we want to achieve this year? And they had a plan for 5 years. Everybody was able to see it. Everybody is on the same page. Everybody knows that our number 1 objective this year, for example, is improve our quality or something else. But everybody's working in the same direction because there's a plan and everybody's aware of it.
Number 4?
Number 4, it's actually hire the best and keep them engaged. And it's, as you know, it's not always easy to compete with large corporations when you're a small business and you want to attract talent. So they're not trying to compete on the salary. They compete on everything else.
So on that note, are you better off trying to grow your talent? You find enthusiastic top performers who are at the beginning of their career and say, come build with me?
That's a great strategy.
Yeah.
And also you have to keep them engaged. So you have to give them something that they cannot find in a very large business environment, for example, flexibility, more trust, more responsibility to help them to grow in the business. Often people complain that when you are in a very large corporation, it's very difficult to make you to grow inside that business. Well, that's where the culture of a smaller business, it's easier to do that. So the most successful firm in Canada, they don't try to compete with large corporations on salary to attract great talent. They hire young people and they take care of them. They grow them and they help them to be very useful in the firm.
Okay, number 5, before we get to what I think is a really important topic, money.
Number 5, I'm going to surprise you. This one is very surprising. It's the most successful firm in Canada built a strong relationship with the suppliers. You know, when you read a textbook about managing a business, the first thing they tell you is to care about your clients. And it's still true.
Yeah.
But our research is showing that the most successful one, they also built a strong relationship with their suppliers. They talk to them regularly. They share their challenges with them. They even share their long-term vision because they grow their business in partnership with their suppliers. So we were surprised to see that. It's the first time that suppliers in a study like this come up so strongly. But it does make sense because your suppliers are very important to be able to offer the quality product or quality service. So the number 5 is to build a strong relationship with your suppliers.
All of that presupposes that you can afford to live, because in those early years, especially if you're young, and as you pointed out, you come out of school with a pretty high debt load, how do you get started? And in my case, nobody would lend me money. I had to be as innovative as you can imagine. And there were times when I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I wish I could at least consolidate this or do something. You have to, because people say, yes, we support small business, and yet when you go to them and say, okay, I need your backing with money, they go, you're too risky.
Yeah, definitely. Finding financing is one of the crucial aspects of starting a business. At BDC, we help entrepreneurs to start their own business. We have a venture capital group that really support entrepreneurs who don't even have a business yet. They just have an idea, and we help them. The venture capital group help them to really start their business.
You have a venture capital group within the bank?
Yes, it's actually the largest capital group in Canada. And we specialize in technology, so we have different funds to help to support entrepreneurs who want to start a business. After that, when you have a business and you have revenue, well, the other part or other teams of the bank can support also the growth of small business. But depending of which stage in the life of your business you are in, we have different groups to help.
Conversations That Matter is a not-for-profit program made possible thanks to the charitable support of the following and from viewers like you. Please visit conversationsthatmatter.tv and help us to continue to produce this program. Thank you.
What is it that you find are the specific qualities about that person that make them the ideal candidate? Because we can talk about entrepreneurship in general, but it still comes down to it's not for everybody. So if somebody's going, I don't know, like I'm a little uncertain, what are some of those characteristics that they can look at and say, maybe I am the right person for this?
Well, first you have to be passionate about what you want to do. Because frankly, like you said at the beginning, a lot of people are going to tell you, don't do it, or I'm not going to lend you money, or this is not a good idea. So you really have to be passionate about what you want to do. The entrepreneurs who are successful, they never give up. You know, at some point, some projects you should give up, but you really have to be convinced, you have to be passionate, and you have to be able to communicate that. Secondly, you have to be good at building relationship, because when you think about it, and being an entrepreneur is building strong relationship with your clients, with your suppliers, with your employees. So you have to be good at building relationship, at motivate people. You know, if you're not that type of person, it's going to be difficult to be a successful entrepreneur. And you have to be committed. You know, we see that so often people build an important, like a good business, but they move away or they walk away or they take a lot of free time from the business and the business is going down. So you have to be committed to your business, because there's nothing like the owner to run the business. So you can hire very good people, but you have to be involved in your business to make it successful or to keep it successful.
What about support? No, none of us gets through life on our own, and when it comes to your primary relationship, being an entrepreneur can be very challenging.
You need partners. You need a partner, like personally, to help you to build your passion. But also, you need good business partner around you. Most entrepreneurs, they start their business on their knowledge, on their expertise. So if you're a very good mechanic, you might start a repair shop. So doesn't make you an expert in financial management.
Yep.
And what we realize, the lack of financial management is the single most important factor for failure. So,
Really?
Yes, definitely. If you don't have that as an expertise, you need to have somebody around you who has this expertise. The most common problem we have is cash flow problem.
Right.
And often it's because it's a lack of financial management. Another problem that we see is people don't realize the cost of the good they produce, or what we call the cost of goods sold.
Yes.
So they are very busy. They have a lot of contracts, but they're losing money. And when you look closely at what they produce, sometimes they will produce too many products or services that with very low margin, or even they lose money on some of these, and they don't realize it.
How do you get somebody from really not understanding how a business works, even though they've got like all the raw ingredients? How do you help get them across the start line and then keep them going?
Well,
I'm talking about BDC in this case, because this is your specialty.
We have different tools for different size of business and where they are, if they are growing, they're taking expansion, or they're starting up, or even when at the end the owner wants a transition, he want an exit because he's retiring. We even help people to do that. So we have financing tools for every phase of a business. Also, we have a consulting group that could help to improve the efficiency of your business, or to help you to export to another product, or to deal with the problems that you have. Or for example, if you want to sell your business or expand, or if you want to buy another business, we have experts that can help you to do that. But this is what we have now. But we're also building a new pillar at BDC, because our research is showing that one of the most important part for being an entrepreneur is to manage well your business. So we are starting a new pillar to help entrepreneurs in Canada to better manage their business. And that's what they asked us to do. They said, you know, if the most important thing for me will be to be better at managing that business. So we're thinking about what we can do in terms of training, or in terms of sharing their experience with other entrepreneurs to help them to improve their management skills.
Conversations That Matter is a not-for-profit program made possible thanks to the charitable support of the following and from viewers like you. Please visit conversationsthatmatter.tv and help us to continue to produce this program. Thank you.
Let's say I show up at your bank and I'm going, okay, I've got all these elements. I've been in business for X number of years. I still need some financial help, but I don't have some of the things that the traditional banks want me to have if they're going to support me. How do you view me differently than they do?
Well, we are a development bank, so our first mission, our first mandate is not to make profit, is to support the development of businesses in Canada.
Why are you so benevolent? Why is that your mandate?
Well, because we are actually part of the federal government. So we're not a private organization. We are one of the agencies of the federal government. So our mandate is to support the development of businesses in Canada. We're taking much more risk. Actually, we're taking 5 times more risk than a private bank. And this is not to critique the banks. They have
their mandate.
They have their mandate, and it's very clear. We are complementary. So we support businesses who cannot find financing in the private sector. Actually, this is part of our mandate as well. If you can finance yourself with a private institution, it will be cheaper for you to do that than coming to our bank. We support and help businesses who cannot find financing with the private sector.
Ah, okay. But it's not cheaper.
It's not cheaper, but we take more risk. So that means that we are going to lend you money where nobody else would, but we will help you to grow your business. So you're not getting only financing, you're also getting advice, and you're going to support to grow your business.
How do we benefit by having more entrepreneurs in this country?
Well, they are the engine of the economy. I mean, governments don't create jobs. It's the private sector. And in order to have a healthy economy, you need new businesses all the time. They bring innovation. When you start a new business, to be able to survive, you need new idea, new technology. So you bring innovation. You force the existing businesses to do better. So having startups, new businesses, it's a great sign of an healthy economy. And you create jobs. Most of the jobs are created by small and mid-sized firms that we call them high-impact firms because they are between 20 to 500 employees. They innovate, they create wealth, they export, they create new products, and those firms are the ones who create the most job in Canada. So if you want to have a low unemployment rate, if you want to have a healthy economy, you need a very strong entrepreneurship in your economy. So that's why it's so important.
So what do you say to that young person who goes, okay, I hear all of that, but you pointed out earlier on that, I've coming out of school with a large debt load. Encourage me to do this. Why should I do it?
Well, because it's following your passion. Like I said, I come back on this because it's so important. If you start a business just for fun, I don't think anybody will succeed. But if you are passionate about, because you have an idea and you believe in your idea, this is going to be very rewarding. First of all, for you, because if you succeed, there's nothing greater than succeeding your own project, your own business. And also, financially, it could be rewarding as well if you are successful. That's why so many people are doing it. So I think we need this passion. We need these people they really create new things. And we need that, not only for the economy, but also to create those all new products and services that we see and we use as consumer. It's because somebody was creative and, take the time and they risk everything to put this product on the market, and that's how consumer benefit from them.
So your message to them is, do not discount it, explore it, and if the conditions seem right, then we're here to help.
Definitely.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Appreciate you coming in and having this conversation with us.
Thank you.